A recent legislative measure passed in the House is causing concern, with some suggesting that it could potentially criminalize certain teachings found in the New Testament. There's worry that preaching specific passages from the New Testament could be categorized as hate speech and deemed a criminal offense. This apprehension stems from the belief that the law could effectively label parts of the Bible as erroneous or unacceptable, posing a threat to religious freedom and expression. The recent passing of H.R. 690, known as the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act of 2023, has sparked significant debate and concern regarding its potential implications, particularly on the freedom of speech and religious expression, notably in relation to preaching from the New Testament. On the surface, the bill aims to combat anti-Semitism, defined as hostility or prejudice against Jewish people, by adopting the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Semitism. However, many critics argue that the bill's language is overly broad and could inadvertently criminalize certain religious teachings. According to the bill, the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights must consider the IRA definition of anti-Semitism when investigating complaints of discrimination based on race, color, or national origin. While combating anti-Semitism is undoubtedly crucial, the concern arises from the definition's inclusion of certain statements or teachings that could be interpreted as anti-Semitic. For instance, one provision of the IRA definition includes claims of Jews killing Jesus, which some fear could potentially criminalize preaching parts of the New Testament that depict the role of Jewish leaders in the crucifixion of Jesus. This raises significant questions about the interpretation of religious texts and the potential infringement on religious freedoms and freedom of speech. In the context of biblical references, the concern revolves around passages in the New Testament, particularly those depicting the events surrounding Jesus' crucifixion. These passages, found in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, recount the role of Jewish leaders in handing Jesus over to the Roman authorities for execution. For example, in Matthew 27:24-25, it states, when Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but that instead an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd. "I am innocent of this man's blood," he said. "It is your responsibility," all the people answered. His blood is on us and on our children. These verses have been historically contentious and have been interpreted in various ways throughout Christian history. While acknowledging the complexity of these interpretations, it's essential to navigate discussions surrounding such passages with sensitivity and respect for differing viewpoints while upholding principles of religious freedom and tolerance. Additionally, concerns have been voiced about the potential chilling effect on evangelism and religious education, as individuals and institutions may hesitate to engage in discussions or teachings that could be construed as violating the Act. Moreover, the Act's passage has sparked a broader debate about the balance between combating anti-Semitism and safeguarding freedom of expression, highlighting the complexities inherent in legislating against hate speech within the context of religious beliefs and teachings. Biblical teachings offer profound insights into the interconnection between Christians and the Jewish people, emphasizing themes of reconciliation, love, and mutual respect. Romans 11:1 stands as a testament to the enduring covenant between God and Israel, highlighting the deep-rooted relationship that exists between these two communities. Likewise, Romans 15:27 exhorts Gentile believers to provide both material and spiritual support to their Jewish brethren, embodying the spirit of solidarity and compassion advocated in Christian doctrine. These passages underscore the importance of fostering harmonious relations based on shared faith and mutual goodwill. However, the interpretation of certain biblical narratives, particularly those surrounding the crucifixion, has historically been a point of contention and theological debate. While Christians universally affirm the divinely ordained nature of Jesus' sacrifice for the redemption of humanity, discussions concerning the involvement of Jewish authorities in his crucifixion require nuanced examination. It is essential to approach these discussions with sensitivity and empathy, acknowledging the complexity of historical truths while also respecting contemporary sensitivities. This calls for a dialogue that embraces diversity of perspectives and seeks common ground based on shared values of compassion and understanding. In navigating the intricate terrain of these theological and historical complexities, it becomes paramount to uphold principles of religious freedom and respectful discourse. By fostering an environment where diverse perspectives are heard and respected, communities can engage in meaningful dialogue aimed at promoting reconciliation and mutual understanding. Such endeavors are in line with the teachings of compassion and forgiveness espoused in both Christian and Jewish traditions, offering a pathway towards healing and unity amidst the complexities of religious history and contemporary realities. Ultimately, the relationship between Christians and the Jewish people is rooted in a shared spiritual heritage and a common humanity. By embracing the principles of reconciliation and love exemplified in biblical teachings, communities can transcend historical divisions and forge a future characterized by mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation. In doing so, they honor the rich tapestry of religious diversity while advancing the timeless values of peace and solidarity that are central to both faith traditions. There's concern that the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act of 2023 H.R. 690 could criminalize the preaching of passages referencing Jewish involvement in Jesus' crucifixion, effectively censoring parts of the Bible under the guise of combating anti-Semitism. The argument is that while anti-Semitism is condemnable, the Act's broad language might encroach upon freedom of speech, especially regarding religious teachings derived from biblical texts. Biblical references are central to this discussion. For instance, 1 Thessalonians 2:14 highlights historical persecution by Jews against early Christians, including the crucifixion of Jesus, indicating a historical narrative within the Bible that could potentially be restricted under such legislation. Similarly, Romans 11:25 suggests a theological interpretation where the temporary blindness of Jews allows for the inclusion of Gentiles into the faith. These verses reflect a complex theological and historical framework within Christianity, and their discussion could be curtailed if perceived as anti-Semitic under the Act. The concern extends beyond the legislative text itself to the broader implications for religious expression and discourse, raising questions about the balance between combating prejudice and preserving religious freedoms. In essence, the debate underscores the need for nuanced dialogue and careful consideration of the implications of legislative measures on religious expression. While condemning anti-Semitism is essential, the potential censorship of biblical passages requires a delicate balance to ensure that freedom of speech and religious beliefs are upheld.
If you found this video enjoyable, please consider liking and sharing it. Additionally, subscribing to this channel will ensure that you receive more updates in the future. Thank you.